Ooh, little cutscene. There it is. Lovely. Look at that whip. Mmm. Bow, chicka, bow, wow. What the heck? Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I'm driving a 2004 Nissan 350Z. Up front is a 3.5 liter V6, and down below is a 6-speed manual gearbox. Now let's talk about that engine. It's a 3.5 liter, and that's actually where the car gets its name, 350Z. That's why the Nissan 240 has a 2.4 liter. The 300s had a 3 liter. That's just the way Nissan names their cars, and it's actually pretty helpful. So this car actually is a 6-cylinder, which I never really thought about it. I never really thought about the motors of 350s, and I always just kind of assumed that they were 4 cylinders, but this is actually a 6-cylinder, and it's not slow. It's peppy. It really is a lot quicker and a lot peppier than I thought it was. But then again, it's a 350. It's a sports car. It's supposed to feel that way. I am a really big fan of the transmission as well. It feels really tight. Although the clutch is a lot heavier or just harder to push than I thought it was going to be. I really was surprised by that. Although you don't really have to give it all that much gas to really get it into gear, which is, of course, a nice feature. I think these engines really do just sound amazing. Now let's talk about the interior. Well, this interior is pretty modified, as obviously there's an NRG quick release steering wheel, which looks very nice and actually is pretty nice, except for today it's really muggy. It's 95 degrees and I have no AC. My hands are getting a little sweaty and slipping just a little bit. But other than that, I really like the wheel. The gauges look like they were just stuck onto the dash. They pop out obviously, and I don't know, they look kind of odd to me. I'm not a huge fan of them, but they do their purpose, and I really do like the center mounted tack. Reminds me of rotaries. Up on the dash, you also get 3 little pod gauges, one for oil pressure, one for voltage, and one for miles till empty. So that is a nice feature to then look over and get a couple extra gauges. In the center, you get a giant cubby hole, a radio, and your air conditioning settings. One thing about the interior though is these seats really do grab you really nice. They have really high sides, so when you're swinging it around, it actually keeps you in place, which is really nice, and it's nice to get that from a stock seat. Really basic interior, and it is a 2-seater. But I don't really want to drone on about the interior because, again, this is one of these cars that isn't really, it's not about the interior. It's really, like, literally not about that. The only car I can really think to compare this to would really be like a modern day FRS. The FRS kind of took the 350Z's place. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, Nissan still makes a 370Z. Who's still buying 370Zs? I rarely see them. They haven't come up with anything new in quite some time. The 370Z is a lost child to me. I don't even know if it counts as a Z, but that's besides the point. If the FRS were made 10 years ago, the 350Z would be its direct competitor. Yeah, the BRZ has a flat 4 instead of a V6, but still, it's the cheaper, affordable sports cars. But again, this engine is just so torquey. I really do love it, because you still have power. I'm in 4th right now, and I have a fair amount of power. But as you guys saw in the beginning, I've been making videos online for almost 10 years. And back in high school, I used to make Need for Speed videos on Xbox. The clip you saw at the beginning is I had a whole series on one of my channels, which is still online. You can find it somewhere. Please don't dig too hard. Of upgrading a 350Z. That was my favorite car in Need for Speed. I don't know why. I just always selected the 350Z. I've always liked the way they look. I think they look really cool. They're really curvy. The headlights, I don't know, the whole front end just really looks cool to me. But that was always my car. My friends and I would always get on Need for Speed at night after school, and we'd all play together. We'd just free roam, drive around, do whatever, as you do as a kid and as you do in Need for Speed. And this was always my go-to car. Believe it or not, the RX-8 was not my go-to car. This was it. I always I always selected the 350Z. I always upgraded the 350Z. I always did everything to the 350Z. That was my car in Need for Speed. And so I've always been attracted to this car. And to finally drive one, it's interesting. Again, this isn't a supercar. This isn't, it's not turboed. It's an NA 6-cylinder. It's not going to be the fastest thing in the world. But it has good pep to it. And I could honestly see the love in modifying these. I think this could be a really cool car once modified. A real good exhaust put onto it, maybe a turbocharger, or I've seen them supercharged. This feels like a car that's ready to be modified. It's like a dog waiting for the owner to get home so the owner can, throw the ball and it can fetch. This car's just waiting to play fetch. And I don't know why. Nissan's just good at making cars like that. As we all know, 240s have been used and abused. They've always made good tuner cars that people buy, love, and say, you know what? Maybe this would make it a little bit better. Maybe this would make it a little bit better. Maybe this would make it a little bit better. It's just a good feeling to know that this car has potential. It's worth putting the money into. Now, I guess you could say this is one of those cases of don't meet your hero, where you're just going to be disappointed in what your hero is. But I'm really not disappointed. I think when I was a kid, I obviously didn't understand cars all that well. I didn't understand that this 350Z couldn't actually beat a Lambo. Nitrous isn't just the click of the A button, it's a whole system, and it's very rare and very dangerous, and I didn't understand things like that when I was a kid. So I think it's hard to be disappointed by things you don't fully understand. So really, the 350Z didn't disappoint me, really. It's a fun, quick, enthusiast car that just begs to be worked on. Hey, maybe a cold air intake, maybe that'll make me a little bit faster, maybe make me sound a little bit louder. It inches at you, and this thing wants to go.
And go it shall.
That sounded stupid. This also just reinforces what I've been saying to my friends for a while now. My friend Andy recently picked up a Skyline. My other friend Garrett recently picked up a 300ZX. Nissan makes good enthusiast cars, and I feel like not a lot of people realize that because they make the Leaf and they make the Sentra and Ultima. Nissan at least used to make really good enthusiast cars, and this is just another page in Nissan's great car book. God, it sounds so good too. And the torque, guys, the torque is there. I said that about the Nissan Xterra. I reviewed that at the 3.3 liter V6. And this is in the same family, and it's still got that torque. So thank you, Mitchell, for letting me take out your car. It really has opened my eyes to what the 350 is and what it can be. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.
There goes a sight from my soul.